Hello, good evening and welcome. Welcome to the Routemasters show. And this is issue 128. Can you believe that? Issue 128. We've only got 2 more issues to go after tonight. And issue 128. Wow, it's gone so quick as all these issues. 2.5 years nearly all gone. So gonna action-packed tonight for you tonight, and I've got a fun-filled, action-packed night. So let's have some introduction, shall we? Because I've obviously got the dream team behind me. So here we go. So my first guest is Matt Modz.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Routemaster show. Getting too near the end now for me. But yeah, it's going to be a good one tonight. It's always a good one when Dave say hosts.
Thank you. And then the next guest is Adrian.
Okay. Yes, hopefully again it'll be another good show.
Yeah, I can't see why not, can you? So then we've got a guy that's been following us right from day one, and that is Geordie Dave.
Good evening, everybody. And thanks for having me on the show tonight. So I think it'll be a very cracking, really good show tonight. So let's get on with it.
Yeah, let's get on with it. Then we've got the master builder himself, our guest builder, Steve O.
Yay! Hey, good evening, everybody. Well, it's getting very, very close to the end now, so not much to do today, but we'll see what goes on. So I think he's waiting. He's waiting in the wings. But yeah,
it's no good keeping a driver waiting. Then we've got the last 2 people that I'm going to share tonight is first of all with Penelopes Pitstop.
How are you? So I have my own little figure today. I've still got the concept. If you remember him from a very long time ago.
Oh yeah. Yeah, we do. Mr. Concept. Right, and then we've got another special guest, Mr. Concept, sitting on your shoulder.
Yes. Trying to balance him.
Okay, so the next special guest we've got is no show, Routemaster show would be complete without Penny and Horlicks. So here's Horlicks.
Yay.
Good evening, everyone. Hope everyone's well. And it's strange to know we are right near the end now. It's just so it's flown past these last sort of 3 years.
Yeah.
It's been something like that, hasn't it?
Oh, it's just unbelievable.
Yeah.
Guess.
Soon gone by, hasn't it? So here we all are. So tonight we're going to be doing issue 128, and that is the driver. Yes. So you might have noticed that the driver actually comes in 2 pieces. He's got his bottom half and his top half. So I'm going to pass shortly over to Steve-O, because Steve-O is going to do the build, and he's going to tell us all about this driver that's in 2 halves, isn't he, Steve-O?
Yeah, driver of split personalities. So
that sounds like me. You get on my bus and you got a happy driver. By the time you get off, you got a grumpy old sod.
That's just work, right. Isn't it? That's just work.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we've got lots in the chat, so I'm going to ask Matt to do the chat for us, and while we change cameras and what have you.
Okay. So we've got Andy M. Evening all. Is Penny going to be building the Routemaster from where she left off? And if so, what days will it be on? I've been away and really confused with what's going on.
Right. So I am planning to take over again from when this finishes. Obviously, it's work dependent. At the moment, I'm on a contract which looks like it's going to be every 6 weeks. It's going to finish in about 6 weeks. After that, obviously, I'll have another contract. If I can get Wednesday nights off, then obviously I will continue Wednesdays. Otherwise, I think it could end up, worst case scenario, it will be weekly on an undefined day. So, yeah, unfortunately, work has to come first because that's what pays for my Routemaster bits.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Next in the Hap Chat, we have Dave saying, hello everyone, ready for another great show again tonight.
Yep.
Yeah.
We have Yorkshire Crafter, hello everyone.
Hello.
Hello, Crafter.
We have P40F20, hi all, another epic build episode with the Dream Team.
Hello, P40F20.
We've got Peter Whitlock, hello and good evening everyone.
Hello, Peter.
We've got Dano Builds, hello everyone.
Hello, Dano.
Hi, Dano.
We've got Christine say, hi everyone, it's going to be an interesting show tonight, keep watching.
Yeah.
We have Dave Welchy Welch, hello everyone, long time no see, I hope you're all well. I have been very busy moving house and still not got anywhere to build mine, so it's still at a standstill.
Oh, well, glad that you're here, Dave. Welsh.
I understand how stressful moving is.
Oh yeah, very.
Yeah, just ask me and Adrian. We know, don't we, Adrian?
Yes.
Yes.
We've got Eric Woodsy, hi the Dream Team.
Hello, Eric.
Hello.
Alex Demetrius, hi to you all, almost there. It's been a great, enjoyable journey. Lots of thumbs
Hello,
up.
Alex.
Hello,
And
Alex.
then we've got Izzy Harris, hi all, looking forward to a super show.
Hello, Izzy. Welcome.
So I will explain. It should have been on my channel tonight, but because it's the driver and not really a lot to do, I asked Dave whether he'd like to swap with me his 129 for my 128 because I don't know. I'm new to the bus world. I love it, but I just don't have the knowledge that Dave has. So that's why Dave is hosting tonight, and I'm looking forward to it because it's always a great stream when Dave does his catch-ups and bits and pieces.
And we've got a big catch-up to do tonight as well. So once the driver's out the way, we'll bring you all into the picture.
Yes.
Okay. So,
Steve, do you need to just compose yourself for a minute?
Yeah, it's stressful. You know,
Yeah.
a few times that driver's ended up on the cab floor, so you know what I mean.
All right. Oh, that sounds like me when I drop my sweets and crisps. I end up on the cab floor picking them up.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like a Chinese puzzle. This.
Yeah.
See how it goes.
Okay. Right. Just trying to get my pad to work. Right. So we'll just get that. There we go. Right. We've got some instructions somewhere. So tonight, then, it's issue 128, and we're doing the driver, and it'll be your last figurine is the bus driver, ready to be positioned in the driver's cab, hands around the wheel and feet ready to operate the pedals in anticipation of the bell. And how many bells would he need to start off going?
Two.
Yeah, correct. Ding ding. So
Which is interesting because the buses that I'm driving at the moment, when the passenger presses the bell, it actually gives two bells in the cab, which is nice in the sense of if you miss it, you get the second one. But if you're an old fogey like me, you're thinking, carry on.
Yeah.
Carry on.
Carry on.
Yeah.
So there's a bit more chat, I think, Mike.
Yeah. Okay. So we have Dave Welch. Yes, it was very stressful. Ended up having to break into the new house as the estate agent decided to close before we had finalised.
Oh no.
And then got Chris Camplin. Hi everyone.
Hi, Chris Camplin.
Hi, Chris.
Your bad drivers of Essex.
Right. So, where's this driver then, Steve? Are you ready?
Yes.
Oh, so I think we've got some instructions somewhere, Adrian. Oh, there he is. So there's the instructions you get this week. It's very, very simple. So it's just a driver in uniform, and we'll have a read of that. It says on the right hand side there, it says the driver is in typical uniform of the day with coat and lapel badge, is ready to take his passengers to the next destination. The trousers have a blue stripe down the outside seam, and there is a blue piping around the collar. The drivers at the time also wore a smart peak hat. Okay, and then at the bottom of that, it says that details of the uniform. So if you want to click onto the picture of Steve's driver, we'll go through the details of the uniform. So the details of the uniform, the bus driver's winter uniform was topped by a double-breasted great coat. The driver on the left has a white band on his right wrist, which was worn on dark days to make hand signals more visible. The cap had a glossy peak, and a roundel was pinned to the front. Cuffs were trimmed with leather to protect the uniform from wear and tear. The jacket was worn beneath the coat, could be double or single-breasted jacket. They had a leather-trimmed pockets as well as cuffs. Lapels were finished with a griffin symbol embroidered in light blue. Brass buttons had the griffin symbol moulded onto them. So that's all about
last, wasn't it?
Looks like Blakey before you come in, Inspector.
Well, there is a bit of bone of contention here about this driver, because there is quite a few people on here that think he looks a bit like Adrian.
Yes.
Hang on.
He does.
Hang on.
I'm sorry, but he does. He looks like Adrian.
Oh, I'm trying to get Adrian and the
driver together.
Yeah. Right. I'm sorry, guys. I'm going to just pull all of us out of the stream for a moment, because I think that's how the only way.
Wrong one. It's a little bit blurred on mine, unfortunately. Probably think I've got glasses on.
You guys are the judge. Who are not? Someone's missing.
You've left Adrian.
Oh, sorry. Yeah. It's funny. Sorry, I know Mark. Is it Mark? He's a bit funny about the order, aren't you? There we go. He's off.
No, it's not me. This is Adrian doing this. It's Adrian.
So this is how to annoy Adrian. You ready? Go on.
I'm sorry about this, folks, but you can tell how mad we really are.
Someone said ages ago, oh, it looks like a young Blakey, and I thought, I can't see it. But the more I see him, the more I think, yeah, actually, he is. But now I'm seeing Adrian. I'll never unsee Adrian in my driver now.
Oh, well. Adrian takes it all in good faith, don't you, Adrian?
Yes.
Yeah. I'm sure Adrian's been called worse.
Oh, well, I think we all have, haven't we? So, I think there's a bit more that, Mark.
Yes, we have David Bassett. Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, David.
David Bassett The driver looks like a young Blake before he came an inspector and switched to Luxton and District in the early 70s.
Yeah.
And David Bassett has put, nice to see Horlicks back on live stream and Penny.
Not as nice as it is to see you, David.
Yeah.
And that's the chat.
Yeah, jolly good.
I'm just going to change the subject ever so slightly. David, have you got your shirt yet? I think it might be due the 21st, is it? That was it. That was just,
Right, okay.
Boys and girls together.
Right. Okay, so we need to somehow then place this in the driver's cab. So have you got a method for doing this then, Steve-O? Because it actually doesn't state.
Well,
it doesn't state.
I look at this. He's got to have this base stuck on the seat, really. All right, at the moment, I've just put blue tack. I think what I'm going to actually do is keep the driver top half unglued, because when you actually put it in the cab, it's very difficult to get to the switches.
Yeah.
So I think you might have to leave the bottom bit glued in, and so I'm just undecided, because I don't really want. If I glue him in, that's it. He's final, and the cab's got some nice detail. It's a shame. It's a shame to sort of just like fill it with a driver, and then you can't see nothing. I'm quite lucky because I did a mod on my cab roof, so my cogs would be closer, so I can actually take my cab door out. So God help you if you've got the cab door and you're going to try to get him in as well. You know what I mean? It's like a nightmare. So I mean, I've just
maybe instead of cutting him at his waist, maybe they should have cut him straight up through the groin, through the face. No, I mean, all right, that sounds a bit bad, but then you've got something thinner to get in.
Yeah, because you can't. You've got to glue this bottom bit in because it needs something to connect to.
Right.
If that bottom bit's not sort of glued down, the top half is just going to go flying.
Right.
I mean, I've took my cab door off to give me some better access. As you can see, that's just me trying to get it in with the cab door off.
Struggle, isn't it?
So I'm getting him in now. He's obviously I can't adjust the seat because his knees are touching the steering wheel.
Yeah.
You've got to watch his foot is in the way of the actual brake pedal.
Yeah.
If I leave him like that now as like a natural, he's got his feet up, he's actually blocking the brake pedal.
Right.
Yeah.
So I'm tending to actually move him around so his foot is a little bit more towards the steering column.
Yeah.
So when it's near the steering column, at least you can get your finger in to touch the brake pedal. So that's the thing I did notice. Obviously, I've pushed him down now. So I've just blue tacked him in. Let's see if we can get this bit in now. See, it's just absolute nightmare.
Yeah, and that's with no door.
Well, I've took me, as I said, I've got the extra room with the door. Now, he's in.
He's in. Okay, but I'm a little bit concerned. If I don't do the mod on the door, there might be a lot of people watching who haven't got the confidence to do any mods. Are they going to struggle to get the driver in?
Well, I mean, the mod on the door was accidental because we're all complaining about the cog not going up into the destination. So there's two lugs here. What the cab roof? Or is it? There's two lugs in the cab roof about here somewhere.
Yeah.
And I just filed them down a little bit.
Right. But
Which
doesn't
bit-
it turn out you don't actually need to access the destination blind from inside the cab?
Well, no, you don't, because but if
But
you
then
remember,
you wouldn't have known that at the time, would you?
no, we wouldn't have known that at all. We all thought that was the only way. At one point, we actually thought, "Oh, is that the only way?" And then obviously, then the front flap came, and we went, "All right." So they've even modelled that cog to go inside the cab roof, when it probably never really needed to.
Yeah. See, I've been concerned all along about anything that's inside the cab, accessing it. I mean, I can access my brake, but I access it by feel and because I know where it is.
That's right.
Not because I'm looking at it.
Well, as you said, if you look very closely, there's his foot, and I've had, you have to go over it. You have to go over his foot to put the brake light on.
Yeah.
And then if you go towards the cab now, his head is in the way of the switches for the destination lights and the engine start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's why I thought, well, you can't glue his top half in, because you need that little. No. You might even have to you can take him out. You take him out to switch all your switches on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, as you said, so it's what do you do?
So when you have your friends round for your posh dinner party and they say, "Oh, that's a lovely bus," you've got to pull your driver out of the cab to show them how the bus works.
I would say so, yeah.
And they say, "Well, how can you operate them when there's no driver in there? They only work when there's no driver in there to operate them."
I mean, I've even looked at the pound shop for one of these, the stylus pens.
Yeah,
that can go but you can't get it right. You can get it. You can probably get round to do the horn. I think the horn I can get to touch, but even then you're frightened the touch and the you can't really get the. You can't get it. So it's like, what do you do? I've got that one where my engine noise doesn't work, but again, your finger's the best thing, because you feel around, don't you? And you go, there's a switch.
So my idea of cutting the wires and rewiring them so they've got switches on the outside of the base, is that, do you think, a spot on idea?
Yeah, or even I'm thinking, look at all that space at the top there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So is it fair to say that it is a very good design, but it could be a little bit better?
I think yes, because I think different projects, I think it must be, it's a team what's obviously designed it, but I think different people have gone off and designed different things.
Right.
And they've brought them together, and then someone's had to go, okay. Why did we not get the driver on issue 40, 41, or 42?
You think the figurines have been an afterthought?
Do you know what? No, I don't think they have, Geordie, because when Steve now said about different teams, the first thing that went racing through my head was there was probably one person who designed the figures, and you can see that the conductor and the driver and a couple of the figures, like our favourite little old lady, they've put a hell of a lot of work into those. They really put everything in. Some of the figures maybe not quite so much, but maybe they've gone like, right, well, I've got this much time to come up with this number of figures, and I've spent so much effort on the driver and conductor, and now I'm running out of time for the others. Don't get me wrong, I'm not knocking any of the figures. You know I like the figures. But I do think, like this driver, there seems to be a lot of thought gone into it, and the conductor. And I love that little old lady. She's probably my favourite figure.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I think that's what I'll probably do. I mean, you can see the blue tack is too much blue tack, obviously. So that's why he's touching the steering wheel. But that is common anyway. I've driven many buses with a steering wheel polishing your leg.
Yeah, that's why I've got a shiny band across my just above my knees on my trousers.
So I think what I'll do, I'll sort of get Evo stick or something and glue the actual base in, and then I'm just going to leave him to keep taking it out and leaving it in, so I can at least get switches.
As a static model, I think that looks absolutely superb. There is a couple of things that, for practical, I mean, the bottom line is we all know when we finished with this, we'll be playing with it for every day for a week, and then maybe the next month we'll play with it 2 or 3 times, and then after about 2 or 3 months, it'll just sit on the shelf looking absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
And I think, Mark, you're like that, aren't you, with your models?
Yeah.
How many times did you play with your Millennium Falcon the first week after you finished it?
Oh, I were always switching the lights on and stuff like that. But
and when's the last time you actually done anything with the Millennium Falcon?
Oh, I moved it into a different position over a month ago, but I haven't done the lights or anything like that.
Yeah. So, and I think that's the way the bus is going to go, because you don't want to damn, and we've all put so much, whether you're a fast builder or a slow builder, mods or no mods, we've all put a lot of work into this bus. And, to get all the way to, because there's, from what I gather, most people don't make it to the end of the build. They cancel for some reason. So, we all need a big pat on the back for getting this far. And we don't want to damage it now.
No.
I mean,
I would imagine that. Go on, Stephen.
If I was going to build, if Routemaster comes out again, I'm going to build another build. All my cab switches, I'm definitely going to think about doing it something at the back there.
Yeah.
So the switches are like there. At least you can sort of, they're all accessible there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even if they're just
can do, isn't there?
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot, but that's the thing I can consider this next time is paint it black, because obviously that was something I didn't do. It was too far built, and I saw people's builds saying, "Oh, they painted theirs black," and I thought, yeah, I would have should have done that myself. And then I'd probably stick all the switches in some sort of order, and you could even paint around the switches black.
Yeah.
So you could disguise them, and I think that would have been a better, obviously people's putting them on the back platform underneath. You've got the remote control system.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think instead of doing all that wiring, what we did in the issues, just then get all the wiring and just do it from the bulkhead straight down the side of the bus and leave it from going round stuff.
And of course, the advantage with seeing it finished, you can see what spaces you've got that you can use.
Yes. Well, that's why I put all my wiring down the side, because there was an actual gap, like a proper bus. How many people was trying to cram all those wires into those little grooves?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Grinding away and
you're going to use them.
And there was an actual gap down the side of the bus here, what was not being used.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So as you said, it's I mean, I've added a newspaper to the driver.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's in. I think he looks the part. I
think the driver, the position he's in, the conductor, the position she's in, it really does look like a 3-dimensional photograph.
Yeah. I mean, I think because I've got the blue tack under his bum there, I think my hands will just be a little bit lower.
Yeah.
But he's not touching the steering with his legs, is he?
No, I mean, it's looking like. I mean, you could be saying he's just going to take his hand off the steering wheel there to use that indicator.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if you put the right amount of blue tack in, you'll lose millimetre or two on his height.
Yeah, because it's just. I mean, that was just for tonight. Because I am going to glue him in base in, and then just leave, as you said, leave the top.
Yeah, I would do the same. I mean, okay, if you knock it, you'll lose the top half, but you know, I think that looks fine.
You know, so
happy with that.
Yeah.
So I'm quite lucky because I can now put the door back on, sort of thing. So, but flipping heck, it's a struggle. It's a struggle trying to put it in, the driver in with the door. But it goes in eventually. It's a bit fiddly, but
see, the only other option is when you're building the cab, build it right up to the issue before where we actually put the top deck in fixed. Wait till all the issues come out, put the driver in, and then carry on building.
Yeah.
Which
That's
is
the only other option. Yeah.
Isn't it?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want me to catch up on chat?
Yes, please, Mark.
Okay, so we've got Stephen Hyson. Good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Hello, Stephen.
Hi, Steve.
We've got Roy's the boy. Good evening, at Dave Say and everyone.
Hello.
Hello, Roy's the boy. Keep watching, Roy.
Okay. We've got David Bassett. I ordered a shirt and the celebration book, which will be posted together. Also, Wickham re-signed Dave into Stockdale today on a 1-year contract.
Yes, and I know there's only 2 people doing that because no one else actually knows or knows.
Roy's the boy says, hit the thumbs up, please, people. It does help the channel.
Yes, please, if you can. Thank you.
And don't forget, it doesn't just help Dave Say's channel, it helps all of us because we're all using similar keywords. So it all promotes all of our channels.
Yeah.
We've got Eric Woods there. Penny, I was thinking of gluing the switches under the back step.
Yeah, could work. I mean, I'm thinking about I really am seriously thinking about rewiring it so that I've got switches and I'll just I'll have coloured buttons on my base. And each button does something different.
Yeah.
Okay, and then we've got David Hanger. Evening all.
Hello, David Hanger.
Hello.
Back to you, Dave. Say.
Okay, back to me. Well, back to me. Where are we? There we are. So I think all we've got to do now is look at next week's build. And next week's build is on here. And next week's build will be issue 129. Build the Routemaster, advertising stickers for the sides of the model, plus the front indicators. And what's happening here? Going back a few steps, are we?
Hang on, I can sort it.
All right. Okay.
Might have been me.
So obviously, you know, we've got the finishing touches to the model coming next week in issue 129, and then we've got issue 130, haven't we? And sneak preview. I have issue 130.
I have a sneak preview.
And I've got a sneak preview a bit later on. So
can I show you my sneak preview?
Yeah.
Oh,
there you go.
Hang on. There's my sneak preview. Oh, my postman's going to hate me.
Ooh.
But the way Hermes are going, I think you won't get them in time to finish the next Harshette build. Sore subject.
Right, okay. So, that's all well back on channel again. So, drivers. I was a bus coach driver. Penny is a bus driver. Dave, I believe your dad was a bus driver. And you've got a bus driver in your family as well, haven't you, Mark?
Yes.
And
my dad used to be a bus driver.
Yes, my brother's a bus driver.
Yeah, and so Horlicks.
Yeah, my dad used to be a bus driver.
Yeah.
He keeps trying to get me to do it. He's actually given me Actually, I think it's here. There's actually. Yeah, it is. He actually gave me this the other day. Because he wants me, he keeps pushing me to do it. He's like, oh, have a read of this. You want to go and get your bus license?
Yeah.
I think you as well, haven't I, Alex?
Adam?
I think I've been pushing you as well.
Yeah, so you got you doing it, yeah. And then my dad's giving me this book. I mean, it's out of date now, I think, but it's. I'd imagine it's pretty much. Well,
a lot of it's very similar.
Yeah.
Pressing your horn at a certain time of night, that's still the same. We still do drive on the right side of the left. We drive on the left or the right? We drive on the left-hand side of the road. Except when you're London, which you drive on whatever side of the road you can get on.
Then obviously we've got Steve-O as well. Steve-O's a bus driver, right? Yeah.
Certainly, I passed my test in 1991.
Wow. Old man driver.
Yeah, 1991, and I was driving preserve vehicles 88, 89, 90, and then the grandfather rights came in, and I was just a couple of months short. Yeah. So my bus was as a show with Shearings, and they had this big sticker in the window saying, "Come and drive for us." So I did 3 days intensive driving with Shearings. Went start on the Monday, passed on the Wednesday, and I was doing National Express, London Victoria on the Saturday.
Wow.
2-man crew. There you are, lad, get in there. And I was like, you joking, aren't you? Yeah. He had to talk me into Victoria coach station. I was like,
is that one of those ones where they'll say, you don't need route learn, you got a driver with you.
Yeah.
He'll tell you where to go.
Well, the thing was, I wanted a class 1. So I was gonna drive an old crash box Leopard.
Yeah.
But both of the training buses were knackered because 10 trainees tend to knacker the training buses because obviously they don't, So I passed out on a brand new Van Hool. Have a go at this one. It's a brand new Van Hool Volvo B10, gears, synchro. So it was like, you have to go through all the motions. And then he said, right, you pass your tests because they did their own in-house test and medical and everything. I said, great, no problem. Cost me 75 quid, my license.
Okay.
Yeah.
Money back in those days.
So that was, I still got the receipts from Shearings.
Have you really?
75 quid. And I thought, never going to, I've had that money back 10 million times.
Yeah.
And then the first thing they throw me into was another Van Hool with no gear stick then. So, I've just spent I want to do a class 1 with a gear shift, and they said, right, you're in the National Express coach, you're 2-man crew. He said, we'll drive it down to a certain service station in London, and then you take it into London, then you'll bring it out of London, and then that's how they worked it out in that. And I was like, there's no gear shift. No, you don't. There's an automatic button. I'm going, nope.
I was my first. They taught me in an automatic, and then they gave me a semi-automatic bus, and I'm like, well, what the hell am I supposed to do with this?
Yeah.
He went, well, you know how to drive a car with gears, don't you? And I'm like, yeah. They said, well, get on with it then. Like you got this H box thing on the side. But I mean, that wasn't my biggest problem. My biggest problem was they didn't have very good power steering in those days. And I used to have to stand up and pull with my entire body weight. Honestly, right? I'm like, I kid you not, I'm like this. Go around corners. I'd never have an accident around corners because I could never go fast enough. Because I didn't.
That was the trick, though, wasn't it? The trick is to keep the wheels rolling while you're doing. Some people need to stop dead. Then start to try to, and it used to watch them on the bus station, and you go, "Here we go, here's another one." They kept it rolling, but when they stop dead and they start going, Oh my God! And you're going, Ray!
The first couple of weeks, I was going home in absolute agony. I really was. And it was really funny when I did a contract recently and it took me back. They had the old windy blinds. And that made me laugh because remember the old days, you used to do the windy blinds, didn't you? You got all the way to the end and realised you've gone the wrong direction. So you got to go all the way back and then go from there. And they didn't put it in any logical order. You know, they didn't put your two main destinations next to each other. One would be right at the beginning and the other one would be right at the other end with everything else in between. Yeah. All these destinations you've never even heard of in the middle.
And then maybe 40 feet of land.
Yeah. And if you did get one destination at the beginning and the other one in the middle, that's because they put not in service right at the other end. So you've got to get there eventually.
Or you just left it. We had a union in Wigan and it had service, and if you didn't have the piece of paper in the back of the cab, the blind tracer, you left it on service all day.
Okay.
So no blind trace, even though you knew the numbers, because you've wound those blinds that many times on the back of it used to be like numbers 1 to say 100.
And so do you also get drivers used to write things on the blinds?
Yeah.
So they'd put like door with a down arrow, and then further up Sheffield. And it'd be like door with an up arrow and Castleton with a down arrow, and then another destination with a bigger arrow.
I mean, look at it. I mean, I've noticed you drive in automatics. Well, I used to work at Network Warrington, and they had.
I'm just going to put
that's the vehicle. It's still owned by the company. So
lovely,
nice.
I was taking that on weddings and stuff like that, funerals.
Is that 723C?
729C.
Oh, right.
Now, I think there's 2 in St Helens Transport Museum, Warrington 50, and there's another one painted in Weardale colours. And you knew about them. You knew. I've done a shift in that, and it's totally different because obviously people were letting you out with one of them vehicles because you got to a roundabout. It was like, oh, look at that old bus. Go on, mate, you can go through. But you drive a modern bus, and they're just like they're cutting you up, but they wouldn't cut you up in an old-fashioned one.
No.
They used to let you through with a smile, but then the next day you'd find yourself, oh my God, do I have to ring in sick here because my knee's gone? Or me, you can understand why drivers got bad knees or, sort of, problems with the hands and stuff like that.
Yeah.
I did enjoy driving the old vehicle because you have to think about it. It's all, but it's
not 7'6" wide, that Leyland.
Yeah, it was specially built for a certain street in Warrington. They ordered some, and then when they all got delivered, guess what? The council then decided to widen the street. You couldn't plan that, could you?
No. Well, for a short time, Steve, I actually owned bed 722C,
right,
which was just a couple below that one. The exact same bus, 7'6" wide, Leyland PD2. Leyland PD2 40, I think it was. And I actually bought it from a guy at York, and he said it wants the bodywork doing to it. So he says it's mechanically right, but he says the bodywork, he says it really is bad. So I said, I'll have a look and I'll see what I can do. Anyway, I got mostly down one side done. In fact, I did get one side done, and I replaced all the steel work, all the woodwork down one side. And I thought, hang on a minute, this is costing me an absolute arm and a leg, and I'm only down one side. I've got all down the back, all down the other side to do, then the interior, and then, there's like the wings to sort out and everything else. But there's no way I can afford this. I was looking at an awful lot of money to actually do the whole thing. So I thought, no, I'll get rid of it. And and really kicked myself since I got rid of it, because they are very rare. Them bed queries, the bed 7, they're really rare. There's only, as you say, 2 or 3 about. Anyway, to cut a long story short, it's now in Martinique, I think it is, abroad, and it's now a bus bar, and it was sent abroad by Carl Island. So yeah, that's where it is, in Martinique.
I used to that was another one we used to drive on our private hire fleet. That was a Volvo Leyland Olympian. Unfortunately, that was a school bus what went under a low bridge. Nobody got hurt, and they converted that. I did private hires, weddings, even schools hired it for days and stuff like that. I was all over the place, and then when you actually, I think the highlight of my career was they actually hired it for Leicester's homecoming.
Wow.
Remember you telling us about that? Yeah.
So that's me. That's me. I had 4 days down in Leicester, and that's me driving, and it was just an awesome day. The noise, people crying, and all sorts. So that I was sort of live on Sky all over the world, and everybody kept texting me saying, "I've just seen you." But yeah, that was a highlight. That was a real sort of like highlight of the. Again, my dad was a bus driver.
You see, Horlicks, become a bus driver, and these memories can be yours.
Yeah,
they can. And you'll come out with loads of stories of you did this or you did that or you did the other.
Yeah,
I wish I made a diary. Because of all the things what you've come across with people asking you stupid questions.
Yes, that's
how long's the next bus? What time? And I used to work in a travel shop as well. I did 6 years working behind a counter, selling tickets, holidays, National Express, and I've had people come in saying, "There's no bus." Yeah, it's snowing. Yeah, but you get a gritter and you get me home. No, the buses have gone off now. They're all going up. Same day. It's like, oh.
My favourite is when they come into the information shop to complain the bus is late, but while they're complaining, the bus has turned up and gone.
Yeah.
It's like, the bus there. It's just
we have bus stops in obviously I live in Greater Manchester, so our bus stops, you have to put your hand out.
Yep.
It's simple.
No handy, no stoppy.
It's compulsory in the bus station because that's a terminus. Yeah. And I'm always wondering when you get to the terminus. I don't know if it happens to you, Penny. Why do people ring the bell when you're coming to the last bus stop?
That's one of the ones I kind of let go because
just look at you, go, hey. I can't go further.
You think I'm not going to stop if you don't ring the bell? Yeah. But then what'll happen is you'll get to another stop and they don't, one of the problems we had, Bexley Heath Shopping Centre in London, extremely busy stop. And it's, there'll be 20, 30 people want to get off. So one of them will ring the bell. And then when COVID hit and our bus numbers were going down to about 10, people wouldn't ring the bell because obviously I guess the people who were ringing the bell were off shielding or furlough or whatever, and people were mightily shocked when I drove straight through the shopping centre and out the other end, and they're like, well, I wanted that stop, and I'd say, well, do you not think that's information I might be interested in knowing? It's my foot on the brake pedal. Tell me, and I can pull in. And if
if they're not ringing the bell, they're not going to get off, are they?
I think as the bus every day, I think it's an automatic reaction. Really, I just press the button.
The driver, but people go. I mean, I've had people say to me, "Oh, the drivers know I want to stop there," and I'm like, but I don't know who you are. Do you know me?
Yeah.
And they go, like, no. I said, well, how am I expected to know where you get off? Maybe if you get on my bus every day for a couple of weeks, I'll remember you. But
right, catch up on the chat a bit, I think, Mark. I think it's gone crazy.
Yeah.
My favourite one at the moment, my favourite one at the moment is the kids who are on their mobile phones, and they're so interested in their phones they don't notice you drive past until you've actually gone. You look in the wing mirror and you see them go.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've got Alan Thomas. Hi, everyone.
Hi, Alan.
Hi, Alan.
Thomas again. I was a bus driver. Stephen Hyson. I was a coach stroke bus driver. Passed test in 1983.
Wow.
David Hanger. The front upper saloon face has been a bar stool of a job to get it looking as near as possible to the real thing. Glad I've done it though. I've enjoyed the challenge.
Yeah, it's amazing.
David Hanger, great seeing all the different build techniques, mods on the Facebook group.
Yeah, that's what it's there for.
David Hanger, how many of you had the privilege of driving a Routemaster out of interest?
I've not
nearly
been
did.
one in properly, but I have been in one and driven it around private ground.
I've driven a couple.
Yeah.
We've got Trevor. Oh, go on.
I don't know if there's a Routemaster in St Helens Museum which is 991.
Right.
That was an A. That's a true AEC. That's been restored. I took it. I went to the AEC rally and I was asked to drive that one, so that was quite good. I worked for part-time for Classic Buses in Blackpool, and they had a Blackpool coloured. They had a Routemaster painted in Blackpool colours, and they had a Dartmaster as well, which was one fitted with the engine from a Dart. And used to do a Sunday service weekends, Lytham St Anne's at the seafront. So I've done a bit of part-time, crew, and while I was driving, then I getting used to somebody else ringing the bell. You said ding ding and away you go. You couldn't just you had to wait for the bell. So it was quite interesting, but they were quite nice, interesting days. So yeah, I've had a go at the Routemaster, and it's, as you said, they are the design, they're built for the job.
Yeah.
Okay. We've got Trevor Wright. I did the design for the blinds at First London for a bit. Drivers kept drawing those arrows to other displays on the blind rear. I thought it's a good idea, so I got them printed onto subsequent blind sets.
See, we want more like you, Trevor.
Yeah.
A hell of a lot easier.
We've got Peter Whitlock in Luton. There's an area called Round Green, and the usual question on boarding was, is this the round green bus? To which the answer was, no, it's a long red one.
Yeah, yes. I would so say that.
And the last comment is David Hanger. How did it feel, Penny?
It was a bit of a mixed reaction because on the one hand, they're not the easiest buses to drive compared to modern buses. But on the other hand, you kind of appreciate what you're driving. I think you've got two sorts of drivers. You've got some drivers that just do it for a job and they just want the easiest life possible. And, that's fine. But you've got some drivers that will, the new buses are great for the passengers. They are probably better than the Routemaster. But you appreciate what the Routemaster is. It's all a progression, isn't it? The Routemaster was the greatest bus since sliced bread. But obviously the later buses are a step up from there. And I do feel that if it wasn't for the Routemaster, we wouldn't have had the buses we've got now. And now the camera's really on me, and now I'm really conscious of that. It's all a progression, I think, isn't it? I mean, it's like with films. At the time when they brought the Matrix out, it was probably the absolute greatest bit of camera work ever possible. And then people have advanced on that, but I don't think if it wasn't for films like Total Recall and Matrix, we wouldn't have the films we had now. And I think it's the same with buses.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and cars and everything else. But they say it's progression, but in some instances, I think we're going backwards. And I think they're just boring boxes now, aren't they, to look at?
That is the problem. See, the bodywork doesn't make the bus any more or less drivable. You know, they are sort of, the seats are packed in to get more people in, and make it such a good thing. But then more seats on the bus means less buses on the road, which means less bus drivers, and we are going through a bus driving crisis. So we have got enough bus drivers as it is.
I mean, we're obviously living at Greater Manchester. This is the bus what we were brought up on. Now this is the bus that this is the one I used to own.
I remember that one.
They're the Greater Manchester Transport Standard. So that was basically the Routemaster of Greater Manchester. Now, I've done many shifts on them, and I was very lucky to restore that particular bus there back to its original condition. And obviously then I had to let it go because it was either mortgage or, you know, not pay the mortgage or pay the bus. I wish I kept the bus really, but you know, it's there. I've still got access to it. I can still go down and see it. But again, that's an Atlantean, that one, and power steering. It had air brakes, no retarder. You know, you could drive it. You know, you could open the doors at junctions.
Yes,
it's designed.
The doors open in a hot day, couldn't you?
Well, yeah. I mean, you understand the safety aspect of it now. But
you could.
You open the doors now, and you lose your gears. You know what I mean? You know, so I mean, I've done many shifts with them type of buses. They're the Routemaster of Greater Manchester. They were designed, for Greater Manchester, and they went, and they obviously when they got sold on, they were all over the country.
It's nice to see people like I've forgotten the bloody name now. A bus company, can't remember. I think the name's just escaped me. But they're finally starting to design buses with drivers in mind. And I like.
Is it the ADLs?
I think it's Alexander Dennis. Yeah. The new ones are you know, things like better places to hang your jacket, because they're suddenly they've suddenly figured out that drivers would like to keep their uniform smart while they're driving. When you want to take the jacket off when you drive, you want to hang it up. All I need now is to sort out the uniform with the coat hooks that don't snap under the weight of the jacket.
Or as you said, the bodybuilders now are more. I think there's more room in the cab. I mean, London buses have all air conditioning. Now we don't get that
when it works.
Well, when it works.
In Newport, we have the very first electric bus in all of Wales, and I think they got 14 more on order. I don't know if they've got them yet. No air conditioning, because that uses up battery power. So they just connected it. So you've got the managing director going on local television going, the battery will last all day on them. And because you switch the freaking air conditioning off.
But as you said, they're all black boxes now. They're all fly by wire. You know, as soon as it has a wobble, you have to stop the engine, cut it all down, isolate it. You know, I've seen the old-fashioned buses. People get home on. You know, I've seen fitters come. You know, what's wrong with your bus, lad? You're just with a hammer and a screwdriver and a piece of pipe. And next thing, the bus is back in service. It'll be all right till you get back to town.
But that was more the other day, wasn't it?
Well, it's on the back of a tow now, isn't it?
Get the day's work finished and get it sorted out at night. More and more, engineers seem surprised when I can, you know, I'm doing ordinary. It's like, it's fine, it's ordinary, it's just a yellow. I mean, we get drivers going, I'm not taking this bus out, it's got an orange light on it. I've got yellow light. Yeah, it's fine to drive on a yellow light. Yeah. And how many buses do you drive that got the emissions light on?
Everyone.
Yeah.
Everyone.
Yeah.
Once it's gone past its first service, they won't change the filters. That costs money, doesn't it?
Yeah.
The engines are turned down, so you got no power up hills. So you end up crawling up hills in Barrett.
They all go into limp mode once that light goes on, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Um,
So a little bit more chat before we go on.
Yeah. So we've got P40F20, just an echo, cuckoo in the valley, cuckoo, and it brings back sweet memories of you, cuckoo, cuckoo, cuckoo. And we've got David Bassett. Steve-O, some of those ex-GMTs Atlantines ended up down south with London Country Southwest for London Transport tendered routes as AN 257 to AN 287.
Yeah. And then when London Country...
If you want to know about any buses, Dave Bassett is the man.
Yeah.
do you know,
And then because London Country was owned by British buses, London Country was owned by British Bus. I worked at North Western, which was part of British Bus as well. Then some buses came up from London, and they were running back round Manchester again. And they were deliberately told to sell them away from Manchester, so they wouldn't obviously get competition. And then what they did, they bought other companies out, and they ended up coming back and Manchester again. So.
do you drive these buses that cut out when they stop at the bus stop?
The buses.
Some of the brand new ones now do, yeah.
Right, can I ask you a question on there? Because I was on the bus the other day, stops at the bus stop, cuts out, driver gets off the bus, he's standing off the bus, and the bus started up again. There's something automatic in there for the bus stop after.
That would have been a hybrid then. So the buses I'm driving at the moment, they just cut out at bus stops, just like a normal car does at the traffic lights. But the actual hybrids, once you come to a stop, the engines cut out, and then the engines usually start at about 11 miles an hour as you're accelerating. However, if the battery is low, it will revert to diesel power. Now, where an unnamed company that I used to work for didn't maintain their batteries very well, where these buses are 2 and 3 years old and they're constantly being used because they're a hybrid, most of the stops it wouldn't even switch off, and half the time, as you know, it would start up again before you even pulled off, because obviously if it ran out of electric power, you wouldn't have you'd have to actually start it up. So it's an automatic thing. Once the battery level gets low enough, and then you'll go maybe 8 stops.
It was just funny that the driver wasn't even on the bus because he stopped for a brake stop. He got off the bus, cigarette, and the bus started, and he's still standing there. Yeah,
that'll be a hybrid with a low battery. See, if it had a brand new battery in it, that would stay on electric power for ages, because the battery level would be high.
My car's
the electric, the hybrids were very dear to service because of the batteries that wanted replacing.
Yeah. Because you know, if you're using a battery that much more, it's only going to have a less battery, less life.
Yeah.
Well, it's not the same. It's not a hybrid, but I've got, obviously, my car, if I put my foot on the brake at the traffic lights, the engine will cut, save emissions. But say if I've got my radio on or the aircon, sometimes it will start before I've even taken my foot off the brake, because it's, obviously
once the battery gets to a certain level, then we'll do that. Otherwise, if it didn't, you just wouldn't have enough battery power to start the engine again.
So that's really clever mechanics, isn't it? And electronic, really clever. But
It is until it goes wrong.
I think, yeah, till it goes wrong. That's the problem.
I find with the stop-start engines, you have to hit the accelerator as you're closing the door so that you can pull away. Otherwise, what you do is you shut the door, take the handbrake off to start to accelerate, and it just goes as it's trying to start up.
Oh, right.
So as you're closing the door, just touch the accelerator, handbrake.
Dip the throttle and off you go.
Yeah. Push and squeeze and all that, and they get going, don't they? So like the old twist and thrash mopeds. Anyway, that's another subject. Twist and thrash mopeds, isn't it? Right. I think we ought to have a look at some models, shall we? I did promise that we would have a look at some red Routemasters, my red Routemaster collection. And so I've just changed my camera and we'll go and have a quick look at these. And then we'll see from there. And we'll see what we can come up with. So let me go full screen if I can. Where's my full screen? There we are. There we are. Thank you. Oh.
You get to see Dave.
Right. Well, can you hear me all right?
Yes.
Can you hear me all right? Yeah. Right. Okay. So I've got a couple of friends here on the table, which are obviously there in front of them. So yes, that's a sneak peek of them two at the moment. So because we're going to have a look at red Routemasters. So let's get on with this if we can. This red Routemaster was given to me by P40F20. Thank you ever so much, P40F20. It's about 28 centimeters long, and it's made of plastic, and it's actually the remote control one. So it has a remote control with it, and has batteries underneath, and steering wheels and lights that pop on. The headlights pop on.
Go on, Bill. Have you better play?
No, I'm not going to play, no, because I haven't got no batteries in it, because I don't keep batteries in it. So, but I'm actually going to put it on the Lazy Susan. So I'll do that. And there is a reason for this. And here's another one. And this is the 1/50th scale. The 1/50th scale Corgi. And it has exactly the same transfers on it as the streamers on it that actually the Hachette bus has. It has the front ones that are the same, the side one that is the same, but the other side is different. So this is the 1/50th Corgi. You can probably tell how big it is by my hand there, but with the Typhoon T advert. There's something special about that Typhoon T advert, and I'll get to it in a minute, but I'll put that one on the Lazy Susan as well, shall we? So, the Typhoon T advert. Yeah, well, this is the Hachette little bus that you got given with your Hachette model. And this is 1/76 scale, and it's got the Typhoon T advert on. It's going down the route number 11. It's got the transfers on the front exactly the same as the model that we're all doing. And it's got the Jacob's Cream Crackers advert on, and the route number 11 on the rear, etc., which is all in cohesion with the bus that we're doing, isn't it? They're even going to Liverpool Street. I don't know whether you can pick that out on the camera. It's even going to Liverpool Street. Yeah, so that's the one that you got free with Hachette. And this one actually came by my way by Fleetwood J. So thank you, Fleetwood J, for that, because obviously it's going to be treasured within my red Routemaster collection. Let's put that on the Lazy Susan. So Fleetwood J also gave me this one, which is an EFE 1/76 scale Routemaster. It's also going on the route number 11. It's a lovely model, is the EFE Routemaster. So it's an RM, and I don't know what it represents. VLT20. So whatever Routemaster that one is, can't quite see without me magnifying glass. But it's got the Typho T advert on, and it's slightly different. And I went through a phase of thinking about models with the Typho T advert on, because we knew that we was going to get the Routemaster Typho T advert, didn't we? So anyway, I went that way. So that's the 176 scale one. So, and then I bought this one from the car boot sale. It was 50p. It's made by Matchbox, I believe, and it's like a 90s model, you know, with the whiz wheels and things like that. So it's only very small, really, but it represents the Routemaster. So we'll put that on the Lazy Susan as well. So then we've got the traditional one, which is the Lesney Routemaster. Lesney Matchbox. And it's the number 5, so it's the Matchbox number 5 Routemaster. So made by Matchbox, and it's small again, you see. So I picked that up from the car boot sale as well, and I think it was £1.
I think that's been on my route, by the looks of it.
Then we've got one here that Horlicks supplied me with. Thank you very much, Horlicks. This is the N scale 148 scale Routemaster. Very, very tiny indeed. And I think somebody in the groups made a little diorama of this model with a figurine holding it, sat in a seat, and called it Mr. Archett, or is on his way to Mr. Archett's to show him his model, you know, that sort of thing, in the Routemaster group. So you'll have to look back in the Routemaster group to find out what it is, but that's a N scale Routemaster, and I'll put that on the Lazy Susan. And then we're nearly there. We've got the Routemaster keyring, light up keyring double decker that looks like a Routemaster, and this was from Max Modz and Julie, so thank you ever so much for that. And it does it's quite a mess when you're but it's you know, it's just a little novelty, really, novelty keyring. So we'll put that on the Lazy Susan. And then we've got a keyring here which was given to me by Adrian, so thank you ever so much for that, Adrian.
That's
Adrian
okay.
sent me a couple of these key rings, which represent Routemaster buses, and that's very tiny indeed, very tiny. So yeah, brilliant, absolutely brilliant. We'll pop that on the Lazy Susan. Geordie Dave kindly sent me a red Routemaster wheel. So obviously it's a wheel from the Hachette. It's a spare one that he had. He sent me it, and this is so I can give people something when they're looking around our models, so that they're not touching our models. We can give them something that they can touch. And you know, obviously, when you're showing them a wheel, they'll say, "Oh wow, that looks like the real thing." Unfortunately, the back doesn't look like the real thing, but the front does. So thanks ever so much for that, Geordie Dave. It's much appreciated. And then finally, the smallest Routemaster, red Routemaster I have is a Routemaster badge. Usually made by a company called RevGom, and they do all sorts of bus badges and cat badges and goodness knows what. I don't think my camera's picking it up very well, but yeah, it's not too bad. It's not too bad, I suppose. So yeah, and that was given to me also by Fleetwood J. Found it in a little second-hand shop in Blackpool somewhere. So thank you ever so much for that, Fleetwood J. It's much appreciated, and it will be worn when we're showing our models. And I'm getting quite nervous now, but there we are. So Penny also gave me this model, which has got the Typho T advert. It's not a Routemaster, unfortunately, Penny, but it is an RT. And that's the model of bus that came out before the Routemaster. So, and it's very much appreciated as well. So thank you for that, Penny. We'll go with the Red Routemaster collection because it's more or less a Routemaster, isn't it? The RT, and it's got the Typhoon, and it's got the Typhoon T advert on as well. So I'll pop that on the Lazy Susan. And finally, Roy's the boy. If you're still watching Roy's the boy, thank you ever so much for this. He sent me an RTW, which is the Leyland version of the RT. So, and you can tell that by the radiator. Okay, it's a Leyland. It'll be a Leyland 0600 engine under there, as opposed to the AC engine. So, Roy's the boy sent me this one. It's Jacob's Cream Crackers again, and we're keeping with the theme with the Hachette bus, because obviously we're getting Jacob's Cream Crackers advert with it as well, aren't we? And finally, I have issue 130 here, and in 130 we get the front adverts, and we get a windscreen wiper, and we get some mirrors, and that finishes our bus. So that's a sneak peek on issue 130. Why am I showing you that? I'm showing you that tonight because someone has kindly given me all the issues from 1 to 130, so I can build a red Routemaster. And there it is. There it is.
Oh, wow. You already built it.
So yeah, I've built it, and doesn't she look beautiful? Yeah. So she really, really does look beautiful.
Wow.
I am so honoured to be able to do this, and my dream has now come true, really, because once I get the other two finished, the other two will be shown with smaller models, and this one will be shown with smaller models as well in obviously red. So here we are, guys. Here's the our Routemaster that we're building, the RM857, and I've done it up to issue partway up to issue 129. So on next week's issue, which is 129, I'll be doing the indicators live building, because Steve is not able to on his build, and he'll be able to show you why next week. But yeah, that's it. That's built up to issue 129. It's got all the figures in. It's absolutely immaculate and wonderful. It's had absolutely no modifications done to it at all. And the only thing that I will say about it is that I've got a very slight problem with the electrics, and I'm going to have to take the back panel off right at the very back, underneath the back window there, because I've actually put either a screw through a wire or it's trapped a wire, just one wire. But having said that, that's the only thing that is wrong with it. It stood on a David Buckingham base, because we've got a David Buckingham base for it. And I am so honoured, proud and privileged to be able to say to you guys that I've built this book in the last 6 months, in between building our own other two buses. So to the person that's actually given this to us, thank you ever so much indeed. Thank you with all my heart, and you know who you are, you know you're appreciated. Thank you. And this will be treasured along with the other two in our collection, along with all the other models that we've been graciously given over the last 2.5 years. So and obviously here are the other two as well. and they're on the table here. The other two, I'm on with the East Yorkshire one at the moment, and I've got these two corner panels painted, and I'm just about to paint across the destination, and then sort out this vent here because it should be partly filled in, and then the cream band should go straight across, and same at the top here, the cream band should just go straight across there to make it complete with cream bands, because the Routemaster when it was in Hull had 3 cream bands, one at the bottom, one in the middle, and one just under the top deck windows, and then add the white band on there as well. And the white band, as you can tell now, is finished. So it's got a lovely white band across the top, as the East Yorkshire Routemasters did have. And
telling me about that, it signifies it can go under a bridge or something.
Right. Traditionally, the white band was painted on the top roof of vehicles that could negotiate the Beverley bar, the Beverley bar, which is a ancient archway in Beverley, which was the only way through the town of Beverley in the 40s, 50s and 60s, and it wasn't until the 1970s that they actually altered the road so you could actually go around the bar and not actually through the bar. But when East Yorkshire bought 19 Routemasters, they painted them in the traditional colours, which is the indigo blue and the pale primrose, and they decided to put a white bar right round the roof to signify that it could go through the Beverley bar. But in actual fact, these Routemasters were 14'6" high, and the bar is only 10'9". So it actually could not go through the bar. Not at all. So, but as a traditional company, East Yorkshire, lovely as they are, painted the white band on top just to make them look absolutely lovely. I've got some photographs of them without the white bar on when they were first delivered to East Yorkshire, just before they finished putting the white bar on them. But there you go. Yes, it's looking really, really impressive. I'm really, really pleased with that. And I'm equally as pleased that I'm, now able to show 3 Harchet buses when we do eventually show them. And obviously we was about.
Sorry, if you said, I've just found a picture of that Beverley bar.
Yeah. So it was quite a famous bar in Beverley. Yes.
Yeah, a little tiny bit tight there, isn't it?
Yeah, 10'9", and that's where the buses were traditionally in the 1940s. They were shaped roofs to the bodybuilders that shaped the roofs and everything. So there
we go. That is just a little tiny bit tight there, isn't it?
Yeah, and the bus on the left-hand side, 644 BKH 44. Was my dad's actual hearse when he died. When he passed away, we actually used that bus on the left as his hearse. And what a fitting tribute to a busman all his life. It really was. And coincidentally, the bus on the right in the picture is what they call the Yellow Peril, and there is only one of them in existence nowadays, and it's actually been restored, and it's due to be put out on the road by the next 5 years or so. That's with all the luck in the world. So
not a PD2 coach.
Yeah, PD2 coach. Yeah, beautiful it was.
See, that's what I love about you, Dave. You hadn't seen that picture 10 seconds earlier, but you're able to talk about it. That's how good your knowledge is.
Yeah. No problem at all. I'll just quickly show you Christine's bus. If I can go back onto me. There we are. We'll quickly show you Christine's bus. Christine's bus is at the stage it was few weeks back, but I have realised why it's such a problem, this gold band at the front, and that's because I've actually put a wider one on in the centre there than it should have. It should have a narrower one. Anyway, I've got to take that band off there, and it's only from there to there, so it's not too bad. But once I take that off and put a narrower one on, it'll make that front look an awful lot better. So yeah, they're coming along really nicely, and I couldn't be more pleased. I really couldn't. So yeah, if I just stop that now.
So I heard, Dave, you're not collecting buses anymore. You're collecting LCD widescreen TVs.
Do you know, Dave, if you hadn't pointed that out, I wouldn't have noticed the difference.
Well, there you go. So right, I'll come off me now if we can, and then we'll.
Yeah, I'll catch up with chat.
Okay.
So David Bassett says, I have a green line and an ex-green line Routemaster coaches, RMCs.
Wow.
David Bassett again, and Routemaster coach long RCLs as well. Peter Whitlock, that was me, Dave. That was to the person who put the bus on Mr. Harshett.
Oh yeah, that's the guy. Yeah, brilliant idea.
Yeah. Christine said we'll pass that on, Peter.
Yeah.
David Bassett said, I also have one of the Sunstars 124th RMC coaches in the revised Green Line livery on Route 715 to Hertford.
Wow, beautiful.
Peter Whitlock again, the RTW was 8 wide as opposed to the standard RT, which was 7'6".
7'6" wide, yeah.
P40F20, beautiful collection, Dave say.
Thank you.
Yorkshire Crafter, wow, Dave.
Thank you.
You know, the next person commenting. Fleetwood J, hiya, all hope everyone is okay and well.
Hiya, Fleetwood J.
Hi, Fleetwood.
Hi, Fleetwood.
Hello.
Are you going to come and join us, Fleetwood, for the next show?
We've got Trevor Wright, loving those RMs.
Thank you.
Christine say, what was my dining room is now a bus garage.
Yeah.
We've got Yorkshire Crafter, LOL, Christine. And we've got David Hanger, absolutely brilliant work, Dave.
Thank you ever so much.
Amazing.
So, we'll obviously keep you up to date with everything because, we'll be doing things on the hobby show when this show's finished, and I'll be, connecting with all other builders that are building. Horlicks has got to do his, Penny's got to do hers, Matt's got to do his, and I think Adrian's still working on his too, and then there's Steve, he's still working on his. And Geordie Dave still working on his. So and then there's plenty of people in the Routemaster group that's working on theirs too. So we're going to keep the Routemaster group, Facebook group going. And it's just this show that will naturally come to an end on issue 130, sadly. But we'll be keeping it going through the hobby show and through various other things, and I'll keep you updated on YouTube if I can.
Okay, I'll just read this bit of chat out. Fleetwood J says, I will try and join maybe next week. Well, I hope
Excellent.
You do.
Thank you. Yeah, there's a space here for you.
And that's the chat.
That's the chat, and I think we should now look at closing things down after that. I'm absolutely scattered.
Schedule.
So, we've got the schedule to do. So, do you know what the schedule is, Mark?
Right. So tomorrow night we have a public Zoom at 7 o'clock for everybody to come in and chat about Routemasters, Spitfires, anything really.
Yeah.
That's 7 till 8. We have to try and be a little bit strict on that one because if not, we'll be there till gone 10, 11 o'clock at night. And Thursday, that was just on Thursday. Thursday evening, there's nothing. I believe Adrian is live on Friday.
Yes, I'll be doing the Terminator issues 75 and 76.
Fantastic. So everybody tune in for that. Saturday is another night off. Then Sunday is Build a Spitfire show. I've actually written down what I'm doing. Where we're doing issues 18, 19 and 20.
Wow.
So that'll be Sunday, 8 o'clock on my channel. So please come along and watch that. Support the channel. And Monday is Chris Davies, who's going to try and attempt the infamous issue 80.
Wow.
So let's see how he gets on with that.
Wow.
Tuesday, I believe, is Adrian again.
Yeah.
Yes,
What are you doing, Adrian? Or don't you know yet?
I'm decided about.
Right, okay. And then back on Wednesday is the Routemasters show.
Is it?
Yeah. And that is 129, and that's on my channel next week.
on your channel next week, Matt. Yeah.
Yeah. So come along and join as we get to see Dave do a bit of live building.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's worth it on its own.
Yeah. And that's this next week's schedule.
Okay. Well, I think it's
Got a few more chapters.
Yeah.
yeah. There's a few more chat if you want to bring that up, man.
So we've got David Hanna. Dave, I'd like to give you my Routemaster telephone. Send me your details and you can have it for your collection.
Oh, thank you ever so much, David. Thank you. I'll treasure that. Thank you ever so much.
We've got Lucas 1945. Well done, Dave. Nice to see the buses.
Thank you.
We've got P40F20. Brilliant and informative show tonight, Dream Team.
Thank you.
And
Thank
this
you ever
is
so
why
much.
I had to swap with this man here, because I couldn't have done what he's done tonight at all. I can't look at the front grille of a bus and go, oh yeah, that's so-and-so. Or look at the registration number and go, oh, there's a story behind that registration number. No, that's not my my knowledge of information yet. I say yet. So,
Well,
but it's because of that, man, that I'm building a Routemaster.
yeah, it's all my fault.
Okay, I've just got a last bit of chat. David Hanger says no problem.
Oh, thank you ever so much, David. That's very much appreciated. Thank you. Yeah, well, it only leaves me to say thank you all for joining us tonight. It's been a wonderful night, really informative. Thank you for putting your words in the chat and giving us something to talk about. Thanks to all my guests here tonight. For Adrian for sharing all the photographs and bits and pieces of the build. For Steve-O for actually doing the build. For Alex and Penny for coming along tonight, for obviously being here, the original tool that started this show. For Geordie Dave for coming along with his usual Geordie chat, which is brilliant. And, you know, you're one of the originals as well. I class you as one of the originals. And for Mark for coming along and doing the chat as well. So without Mark, we'd be lost without the chat. So thank you all ever so much. Thank you for viewing. All I ask is that you drop me a nice good thumbs up at the end and catch us all next week, where we'll be on doing issue 129 on Mark's Modz channel at the same time at 8 o'clock. And yeah, you'll see me live building, and you'll see Steve Owens post as well, and you'll see one or two other people as well, won't you? That's going to come along. So, and hopefully Fleetwood J as well. So, so it's a good night from me, and I'm going to pass you over to everybody individually, and then they can all say their goodbyes. So, here we go. So who's now?
So I'd just like to thank Dave Say tonight. He took 128 off my hands and has done it fantastically. And, you know, the knowledge he has is amazing. So thank you, Dave, for taking 128 off my shoulders, and hopefully 129 I'll be okay with next week. So it's a goodbye for me, and thank you for everybody for watching.
Thank you, Mark. And the next one is Adrian.
Right, yes. Well done, Dave, for doing a good show tonight.
Thank you. Thank you, Adrian, too, for all your help.
Certainly, yes.
And the next one is Geordie Dave.
Thanks for having us on the show tonight, Dave. Been a brilliant show again. Loved it. Hope everybody else enjoyed it, and don't forget to put a thumbs up to these guys.
Thank you, Dave. And the next one is Steve.
So it's good night from me. We'll see you next week. Another cracking show. And even my dogs are kicking off now. So it's, you know, it's a good show as well. But yeah, so it's good night from me, and we'll see you next week.
Thank you, Steve. And the next one is Penny.
So thank you for having me on the show. Hopefully I'll see you all next week. And don't forget, thumbs up.
Thank you, Penny. Yeah. And the next one is Horlicks.
Right, yeah. That went round quicker than I thought. Yeah, thanks for watching, everyone. Yeah, it's been a good evening, really informative, and yeah, just wow, Dave, your models are absolutely amazing. That was a bit of a surprise. So yeah, no, they look stunning, and yeah, we'll see you all next week for the next issue.
Yeah, thank you, Alex. Thank you ever so much. So, exit solo. Oh, there we go. I nearly got the buttons wrong. So it's a good night from me and a good night from us all. Thanks for joining us. See you next week now. Bye-bye.
Bye.